Today we take off the gloves. We've been doing it nice and sweet for 4 weeks, and men's rules and women's rules and expectations, and now we're going to deal with communication. So now it's time to take off the gloves, because you all fight for what's most important to you. Gentlemen, you work hard at your jobs. You fight to be the best there, to do a great job, to get up even when you don't want to go in there and do competition at your job and be great at it. Women, you fight for your kids. If the doctor said that they're not going to do something for you and you know that this is what you need, you know you'd be a pit bull and you'd fight for your kids. But here's the thing. The most important thing you can do is fight for your marriage. And that's sometimes you might think, but I am already fighting in my marriage. I don't mean fighting in your marriage. I mean, especially as good, today is Communion Sunday, right? Oh, great. I love that, because there's always that time where it says, examine yourself. And that's usually one of the first thing I have to do is examine my words from that week. I'm going, is there anything I haven't talked to you about, God, about those words of mine?
That's right. Okay. And the mouth of the righteous utter wisdom, and his tongue speaks justice.
How often do we say things in anger versus wisdom? Are we really giving justice at times, or are we flying off the handle because it's something that we perceive is wrong? So this is where Scripture is telling us you need to be cautious about your mouth. It actually describes your tongue as a flaming sword. I mean, but flaming swords look dangerous, and they hurt. That's not just burn, but cut. And they're long-lasting wounds. There's things that you could say to your spouse to last, even though you make up and you fix it, and you feel like everything is good, that sort of reverberates in the back of your mind for a
10
while.
levels of intimacy today. We got talking, video chat, phone calls, text messaging, emails, chat, communication on Facebook, linking on Facebook, Facebook status updates, and Twitter. Is that communication? Yeah. We've got this instant gratification, electronic age communication theory today. Everybody communicates all the time, it seems like. But how much of it is real communication, I guess, is the question. So we did a good bit of studying for this, and there are various different theories about how many levels of communications there are, but there are definitely agreed that there are multiple. Men, we understand this one, right? This is where men, this is your football Sunday right here, right? All right, our team's winning, yay! Honey, what are you doing? Nothing. The grunt level. It's just we tend to just short, clipped answers.
If you have a teenager, you are very familiar with this level. How was your day? Fine. What'd you do? Nothing. What's going on later? Don't know. All right, and all of a sudden we accept it as communication. Where my mother actually trained me very well to communicate with my husband. And when I got in the car, I had to sit down after high school every day, middle school, high school, and she goes, so ring, ring. And ring, ring was okay, you're going to tell me, take me from beginning to the end of the day, and it should take about 20 minutes.
When you got in your car with your mom.
When I got in the car with my mom at the end of the school day. Right? So I look at Lance sometimes when he gives me these grunt level, I'm going, ring, ring. It's indoctrinated. I have to give you more.
Yeah, I had this when we first got married. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about?
I'm like, well, tell me about your day. He goes, but nothing happened. I said, well, you did do something today. You went somewhere. Something occurred. Communicate with me. And he would look at me and goes, I don't know.
So guys in particular it's not our natural level to get into deeper communication. In fact, if we ever get complicated with communication, we might stop at this one, which is, the journalist level. It's information, it's having an opinion, it's regurgitating facts. Guys, we tend to be great at that. We have an opinion on everything. That's what we're trained.
And so when I want to communicate to him, well, what do you think we should do about this? All of a sudden, he's going to go into a 5-point discourse on something that he learned that I consider absolutely useless information. But he thinks it's valuable because he can apply this information to whatever it is I'm feeling or concerned about. And I'm going, no, but how do you feel about it? Like, what do you think is the wisdom here? And he's looking at me like I've just grown antenna.
Yeah. And then
feeling level, ladies, this is where you live. Right? This is right here one of the difficulties is because you can jump through. You don't even hit grunt level. You have opinions on things, and you're willing and happy to share with your husband whether he wants to hear them or not. But the feeling level, then you want to discuss the feelings about all of your opinions and feelings about all the facts. And I don't know if this is do you think how this is going to affect the kids? And by the time you're done, you have overwhelmed him, and he's looking like, I'm going back to grunt level because I'm lost. These are not bad methods of communication. It's just not always real communication. So this last week, Lance actually texted me twice, and he was in the same house. But I was in the other room, I was busy doing something, I'm typing and working, and he texted me, and I immediately checked, because this could be the ministry that I'm working with. I immediately look, and he goes, "I love you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And the next day, I'm working again, still typing, still going. I get another text, and look at it, and he goes, "I really miss you." And he's in the same room at this point. It's just, I'm busy here, and I've been on 2 computers constantly going. And it's like, wake up, it's time to stop, take a break.
But I knew she'd check her phone, so you can't do something that's deliberate, right? We don't do it by accident. It takes a plan. So we say to plan your communication. You know, in your daily life, if you're in a business or you're in a job, if it's important, you put it on your schedule. You put it on your calendar. How much more so should we do the same for our marriages? But, you know, it's like, but what about the fact that, you know, I just want him or her to come to me and actually want to talk? Maybe that'll work out for you, maybe it won't.
Notice though, if something's important, you put it on your schedule. If you have a business meeting, ladies, if you have to take your kids to the doctor, if you have to meet with an official, if you have to get something done, you put it on the calendar. So how much more should your spouse be at the top of your calendar? So when I sit down with my calendar for the month, and yes, I have a calendar for my year, for my month, for my week, for my day. I am definitely the planner of the family. But the first thing I put in the calendar, as I sit down, probably about 13 hours at the beginning of each school year, I sit down and I make a calendar for the year. Then we go month by month. And the first thing we put down is our time. Then kid time. The kids need to see that they also fit the calendar. It's not just I'm so busy, but that you're important enough that you go before anything else, and nothing's going to take that time. If I try just to make time for him in my spaces, I might have a slot at 3 o'clock in the morning one day, or at 2:45 in the afternoon, but he's already at work. He has to know that he's a priority. I need to know I'm his priority.
Everybody's different on how they do this, right? You know, sometimes it's just blocking off time. For us, it's usually that we're just saying that, all right, Friday afternoons we're not scheduling other stuff. It's not that we're scheduling we're going to go sit down and talk, because that we don't necessarily need to for us. Some people, you know, they'll schedule we're going to go out to a coffee house and sit down and just chat and stuff. That's fine. Whatever works for you, right? So some people need to be more regimented about it, some that don't. The important thing is that you make time for you and your spouse.
What I love what Mike said is how they go Friday afternoons, and that is their time to go get lunch together, right? His wife knows him, right? Friday afternoon. That is she is that important that he's going to take time every single week for her. That is awesome. The idea that there's a set aside time where nothing's going to interfere with my time with you, because you are the most important relationship I have on this planet. Because it's the one that is literally till death do you part.
So how do you pick that time? Well, not all of us have the same biological clock. You know, some of us are morning people, some of us are night people. Yeah, it doesn't always, if you don't necessarily plan ahead of time, you may end up picking, and new couples especially will run into this, right, where, you know, Sky and I fortunately are pretty close on the same schedule, but, you know, let's say that if she was a morning person and I was a night person, well, at the nighttime, I'm ready to, like, charged up and sit and talk with you. And that's when, you know, I'm the most alert and ready to communicate, if at all, right? And if she's not, then that time may not be the best.
He's usually good after a cup of coffee, even at night. So we'll start to talk and he'll go, just hold on, and go get his cup of coffee. Now, this could be at 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'm ready to go because I'm really ready, and he's going, I'm getting tired and drowsy. So make sure that it's the time when the person is not just charged and ready to go, but also emotionally able to have a discussion that is workable. That's really important, because some of you, when you get tired, it's not going to be pretty no matter what you do. Do you have kids? Put them in bed first, or put on a movie. This is one of the beautiful reasons for having kid TV shows in your house if you have kids, is so you have uninterrupted time. Because trust me, they're sucked in for at least 30 minutes. Turn off the phone. Take it off of the receiver. If you have the house phone, take it off the hook. Or leave a message that this is communication time, whatever it is you want, but somehow that nothing is going to take, and this is hard for me, because someone calls, it's usually like one of 30 students needing something, and I grab the phone. When it's communication time, I have to resist the urge.
Pick a place that works for both of you, right?
For us, if it's in my house, we can talk at certain places in the house. Maybe the schoolroom is not the best because I see 15 things I need to do. And so he's trying to talk to me about something, all of a sudden I'm thinking, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done. And now my mind is, it's like that little dog, and up, it's like squirrel, squirrel. And I'm constantly thinking, and the kids are coming, and I'm constantly thinking of stuff. So if we have a time out and make a date, somewhere we can go out, we can actually discuss. Now, since I'm a planner, of course, it means I have written notes about what we should talk about on our date, so that I don't forget things that we need to talk about in the last week. Because this is our planning meeting. We are literally the military journals of our house. We're going to get ready to go to battle with these kids. You know, to raise them right, to do the ministries that we have, to deal with, you know, people. And it's like, here, we have to have our generals meeting to be able to go through this. And so for that time, we need to get sometimes away from the kids. We schedule the babysitter, right? She has to come over because Andrew, although fine, she's 13 and I don't know what she's going to set on fire. So
she's starting to love to cook, which could be an issue, right?
that's why Grandma's still there, and we're like, you're just waiting for Mom to get someone to touch the stove at all, please. You know, because something is going to break, crack,
Why
burn.
do people have trouble communicating, right? And so for some people, it's that they never saw it done in their household. It was never modeled. You know, if there was conflict, or if there was any issue, the parents dealt with it away from the kids. You know, or there's just not something that was done in their house, or maybe it wasn't necessarily a nice home situation where there really was communication. So don't hide communicating and talking to your spouse and working through issues with them.
Things that we're bringing into marriage, not necessarily like great baggage, whatnot, but all of us have those things that we are self-conscious about, things that we're worried about, and it's that our spouse, when we get really vulnerable, really open, is it going to be used against us later on? So when I was growing up, one of the big things was that you leave it where it's at. However, even I've been guilty of doing it at times. Take something that we had discussed, and I was like, I kept seeing a recurring theme in these arguments, and I said something. I said, this is just like last time. And he looked at me and goes, that's out of bounds. You're not supposed to bring up an old one. We dealt with that and fixed it. And I'm going, you're absolutely right. We'll talk about that a little more next week and dealing with anger and arguments. But part of that is the rules of arguing. But part of this is exposing yourself and being vulnerable is difficult. And so the idea, that fear of opening up because they can use it against you.